Frontier Building Group is a company founded on family values. We take a lot of pride in making sure that we treat everybody like their family. Homeowners often contact us because they're frustrated by past experience they may have had with a client contractor. That maybe a project didn't quite go the way they expected. Maybe there was cost overruns, there was poor communication, the project just didn't end up the way they were hoping. We try to solve those problems through really great pre-construction processes, and we make sure that we have a good communication, great online portal for you to access the whole time, and not to mention excellent relationships with fantastic tradespeople to get the job done really to the top-notch quality. Sometimes people are calling us because they're unsure about what things may cost or how to achieve their goals, the goals that they're setting in their home. So sometimes we get contacted by customers that are frustrated by an experience that they had in the past. They had a project that didn't go quite the way they expected. Maybe there were cost overruns, maybe the timeline went askew, but one way or the other, they contact us because they're looking to solve those problems. We have systems in place and teammates in place that help us really achieve your greatest desires with your house. And we have an excellent team of tradespeople that make sure a project's done to the top quality. Other times people are contacting us because they're concerned that they don't know how much a project is going to cost. They don't even know if what they want is even feasible, if they can even accomplish what they're hoping to get done. We walk them through that process with really clear communication and make sure that they understand what they want, what their investment is, and how we're going to get to their ultimate goal. Well, I started Frontier when I was very young, so I was 20 years old when I started the company. We started out as a smaller company doing much smaller projects, and we've evolved a lot since then. It's really nice now. We incorporate a lot of family into the company. We have a much bigger team than I ever expected we would have, and we're doing some really complex projects that I think are really exciting and really interesting. Things I didn't know that we'd ever do. I didn't know they were part of what our future was, but 18 and a half years later, here we are, Frontier Building Group. We've gone through a few reiterations of what the company actually was. We've defined what our future really looks like, and quite frankly, I'm having a lot of fun helping people solve really cool problems and working on some really great projects on the way. Honestly, it's been one of our best years ever. We're having a lot of fun. I find that the more complex problems that we're able to solve and the more unique ways we're able to help people, the more successful we really are as a company. It helps us invest in different systems. We've enlisted the help of some certain consultants to help us develop our processes and our systems, and our leadership team is really kind of coming into their own on how to develop new systems, how to best help our customers, solve new unique problems. This year, it looks like we're on some of the biggest projects, actually the biggest projects that we've ever been on before, and we're really looking forward to solving bigger and bigger problems every year. At Frontier, pre-construction is a huge part of what we do. It's baked into our DNA at this point. We have a really well thought out process on how we help customers. Honestly, most of the concerns and frustrations we hear from our customers or have heard over the last 18 years of running the business is, the communication is not always great with contractors. The things that they promise, they're not always achieving. What they had envisioned in their mind isn't what ended up getting built. We really have worked hard on getting rid of a lot of those problems through really great conversations at the beginning, a really thorough design process. We start through concept designs, and then we slowly work through material selections with you, and then we get into the engineering and the build plans. We work through the bureaucracy and the red tape with permits, which is only getting more and more complicated every year. And we really make sure that the customer is aware of what they're going to get well before we actually start building what they're going to do. So the pre-construction process, to me, it's just a no-brainer. It's a fantastic process that we've only ever had really positive feedback from our customers on, and it's really making the projects get completed faster, on time, on budget, and to higher quality, and more in line with what the customer really expected in the first place. The phases of pre-construction can vary between companies. With Frontier, we have a really cool approach where we'll start with an initial meeting with you to kind of understand your needs, your wants, what the reasons for the project are, and then we get into whether or not what you're hoping to get done is even feasible. So our phase one is really to discuss feasibility. Is what you want able to be done within your budget, within your timeline? Is this a realistic project that we can complete? The second phase is to get into, once we agree that the project is feasible, is a project that we want to get into, we'll get into concept designs, putting into our software in 3D, understanding what the space is going to look like when we're done. You get to look at colors, walk around the space in 3 dimensions, make changes at that point, and the concept design is a real chance for you to kind of flesh out what you're hoping to get done. Once we're done the concept phase, we move into material selections, interior design, kind of really drilling down the nitty-gritty of what that project's going to entail. Maybe we're picking the different bathroom fixtures. Maybe we're picking the color of the faucets on the vanity. Maybe we're picking the style of the flooring, whether it's dark hardwood, light hardwood, or tile, or something like that. So we'll walk through that material selections process, The next phase is to get, once we have materials kind of dialed in and we have a revised investment range, we've agreed that we want to keep moving forward with the project, we'll get into going into the engineering side of things. Now we really need to start working on getting the blueprints done, getting the other trades to talk about maybe the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems, getting you a set of plans that you can see how the project's just going together instead of conceptually, physically, how is the space going to go together. And then once we're agreed on the engineered designs, we move into the permit process. So we apply for permits on your behalf. Maybe we need approval from a different governing body, like an environmental regulation, an area regulation. Sometimes there's even things like minor variances or things we have to talk to the city council about. And that's the next phase, is really kind of getting those approved. Once we have those permits in hand, by then we have really drilled down into the materials and what we're building. And we'll have a pretty firm price for you at that point. We've agreed that a timeline on a budget, and then we go into the build process, which is really the next step. The main reason for getting into pre-construction planning is really to make sure that your project happens on time and on budget. These are the two biggest concerns that most homeowners have when they're starting a project like this is, am I going to go way over budget? Is my budget even reasonable? And then they get into the project and they realize, wow, this took about twice as long as we expected, or way longer than we anticipated. So a good pre-construction plan makes sure that a project is done both on time and on budget.